Hi there, I'm John. Nice to meet you.
Hello, John. I'm Maria. Nice to meet you too.
Are you here for the event?
Yes, I am. I just arrived a little while ago. How about you?
Same here. It's always exciting to meet new people at these gatherings.
Absolutely. Have you attended events like this before?
Yes, a few times. They're usually a lot of fun. What about you?
This is my first time. I'm looking forward to it.
You'll have a great time, I'm sure. How was your journey here?
It was good, thanks. The flight was smooth and the weather is lovely today.
That's great to hear. The weather can be so unpredictable sometimes.
Yes, I'm glad it turned out well. The city looks beautiful.
It really does. Have you had a chance to explore it yet?
Not yet, but I'm planning to. Do you have any recommendations?
Definitely. There are some fantastic spots I can suggest. We should explore some together if you're up for it.
I'd love that. It sounds like a plan.
So, where are you from, Maria?
I'm from Spain. I live in a small town near Madrid. How about you?
I'm from the United States, originally from Chicago, but I live in New York City now.
That sounds amazing. I've always wanted to visit New York.
You should definitely come. It's an incredible city with so much to offer. Have you traveled to the U.S. before?
Yes, I visited California a couple of years ago. I loved San Francisco and Los Angeles.
California is great. The weather there is always nice. What did you like the most about it?
I really enjoyed the diverse culture and the beautiful landscapes, especially the beaches. What about you? Have you been to Spain?
Yes, I visited Spain last summer. I spent most of my time in Barcelona and a bit in Madrid.
That's wonderful. What did you think of Barcelona?
I loved it. The architecture is stunning and the food was amazing. I had some of the best tapas there.
Tapas are great. Did you try any local dishes?
Yes, I tried paella and it was delicious. I also enjoyed the vibrant nightlife in Barcelona.
I'm glad to hear that. Spain has a rich cultural history. Did you get a chance to visit any of the historical sites?
Yes, I did. The Sagrada Familia was breathtaking. It's incredible how detailed and intricate it is.
I agree. Gaudi's work is truly unique and inspiring. Madrid also has some beautiful places. Have you visited the Royal Palace?
Not yet, but it's on my list for the next trip. There's so much to see and do. What about your hometown? What's it like?
It's a quiet, picturesque town with a lot of traditional Spanish charm. It's very different from the bustling cities, but has its own beauty.
It sounds lovely. I enjoy visiting small towns and experiencing local life. They often have the best food and warmest people. What brings you here to this event, Maria?
I'm here for a conference on international business. It's a great opportunity to learn and network. How about you?
I'm here for the same reason. I work in graphic design, and this conference has some interesting sessions on creativity and innovation in business.
That sounds fascinating. Have you attended any sessions yet?
Yes, I attended a couple this morning. There was one on the future of digital marketing that was really insightful. Have you gone to any sessions yet?
I went to a keynote speech about global market trends. It was very enlightening. I'm looking forward to more sessions tomorrow.
That's great. Conferences like these are always packed with useful information. Do you attend such events often?
This is my second one this year. I try to attend at least a few every year to stay updated and make new connections. What about you?
Same here. I think it's important to keep learning and growing. Plus, it's a good way to break the routine and get fresh perspectives.
Absolutely. Do you find networking at these events useful?
Definitely. It's amazing how many interesting people you can meet. Sometimes these connections turn into great professional relationships. Have you met anyone interesting so far?
Yes, I met a couple of people from the tech industry. They shared some fascinating insights about emerging technologies. How about you?
I chatted with a few people from different fields, including a marketing specialist and a startup founder. It's always inspiring to hear about their experiences.
It is. By the way, are you staying at a hotel nearby?
Yes, I'm staying at the Marriott just down the street. It's convenient since it's so close to the conference venue. What about you?
I'm at the Hilton, a few blocks away. The location is pretty convenient, too.
Nice. Have you had a chance to explore the city yet?
Not much. I arrived late last night and have been busy with the conference today. But I'm hoping to see some sights tomorrow evening. Any recommendations?
Definitely. The local museum is fantastic, and there's a beautiful park nearby that's great for a relaxing stroll. The food scene here is also amazing. You should try some local cuisine.
That sounds perfect. I love museums and parks, and I'm always up for trying new foods. Do you have a favorite restaurant here?
Yes, there's a place called the Local Bistro that serves excellent dishes. I went there last night and the food was superb. You should give it a try.
I'll definitely check it out. Thanks for the tip. Have you had a chance to try any other local spots?
Not yet, but I'm planning to explore more over the next few days. It's always fun to find hidden gems in a new city.
I agree. Exploring new places is one of my favorite things to do when I travel. Have you traveled a lot for work or pleasure?
A bit of both. I try to extend my work trips to include some leisure time if possible. It's a great way to balance work and relaxation. What about you?
Same here. I love discovering new cultures and experiences. It makes the work trips more enjoyable and memorable.
Absolutely. There's so much to learn from different cultures. Do you have a favorite place you visited?
It's hard to pick just one, but I really enjoyed Japan. The blend of tradition and modernity is fascinating. What about you?
I'd say Italy. The history, the architecture, the food, everything is just incredible. I'd love to go back someday. So, what do you do for a living, Maria?
I'm a software engineer. I work for a tech company that focuses on developing AI solutions for healthcare. How about you?
That sounds really interesting. I'm a graphic designer. I work for an advertising agency, creating visual content for various marketing campaigns.
That's cool. I imagine your job allows for a lot of creativity.
Yes, it does. Every project is different, which keeps things exciting. What about your work? It must be challenging working with AI and healthcare.
It is. We're constantly pushing the boundaries of what technology can do to improve patient care and streamline hospital operations. It's very rewarding, but also quite demanding.
I can imagine. How did you get into that field?
I've always been interested in both technology and medicine. I studied computer science and did some research on how AI could be applied to healthcare during my university years. That led me to this career path. What about you? How did you become a graphic designer?
I've always loved art and design. I studied graphic design in college, and after graduating, I started working at a small design firm. Over the years, I moved to different companies and eventually landed my current job at the advertising agency.
That's great. Do you specialize in any particular type of design?
I do a bit of everything, but I particularly enjoy branding and logo design. There's something very satisfying about creating a visual identity for a company. Do you specialize in any specific area of software engineering?
Yes, I specialize in machine learning and data analysis. I work on developing algorithms that can process and interpret large amounts of medical data to provide insights and improve decision-making in healthcare.
That sounds very impactful. It must feel good to know that your work can potentially save lives or improve the quality of care.
It does. It's one of the main reasons I love my job. Seeing the real-world applications and benefits of what we do is incredibly motivating. Do you get to see the impact of your work in your field?
Yes, seeing a campaign succeed and knowing that the designs played a part in that success is very fulfilling. It's also great to see our work out in the world, whether it's a billboard, a website, or a social media campaign.
That must be very rewarding. Do you work on projects independently, or is it more of a team effort?
It's a mix of both. I do a lot of the creative work independently, but we have a team of copywriters, marketing strategists, and other designers who all collaborate to bring a project together. How about you? Do you work mostly alone or with a team?
It's definitely a team effort. We have data scientists, engineers, and medical professionals all working together. Collaboration is crucial, especially when developing complex AI systems.
It sounds like we both have jobs that require a lot of teamwork and communication. How do you find balancing that with the technical aspects of your work?
It can be challenging, but I think it's essential. Communication ensures that everyone is on the same page and that we're all working towards the same goals. The technical work is important, but without good teamwork, it wouldn't be as effective. What about you?
I feel the same. Clear communication and good teamwork make a huge difference. It's always interesting to see how different perspectives come together to create something great. Do you have any hobbies or interests outside of work, Maria?
Yes, I do. I love painting and playing the piano. It's a great way to relax and express myself creatively. What about you?
That's wonderful. I love hiking and photography. There's something about being in nature that's very rejuvenating, and capturing those moments through a lens is so satisfying.
That sounds amazing. Where do you usually go hiking?
I try to explore different trails whenever I can. I've been to several national parks in the U.S., like Yellowstone and Yosemite. They're breathtakingly beautiful. Have you ever been hiking?
I have, but not as much as I'd like to. I went hiking in the Pyrenees a couple of years ago, and it was an incredible experience. The scenery was just stunning.
The Pyrenees must be amazing. I'd love to hike there someday. What kind of painting do you do?
I mostly do acrylic painting, focusing on landscapes and abstract art. It's a great way to unwind after a long day. Sometimes I experiment with watercolors too.
That's impressive. I've always admired people who can paint. It's such a beautiful way to capture the world. Do you have a favorite subject to paint?
I love painting natural scenes like forests and oceans. There's something very calming about bringing those scenes to life on canvas. How about your photography? Do you have a favorite subject?
I'm drawn to landscapes as well, especially during the golden hour when the light is just perfect. I also enjoy photographing cityscapes and capturing the hustle and bustle of urban life.
That's great. Photography can really capture moments in a unique way. Do you ever exhibit your photos?
Occasionally, I've participated in a few local exhibitions. It's always rewarding to share my work with others and see their reactions. Have you ever shown your paintings in an exhibition?
Yes, I've had a few small exhibitions at local galleries. It's a wonderful experience to connect with people through art. Do you play any musical instruments?
I play a bit of guitar. I'm not very good, but I enjoy it. It's a nice way to relax and unwind. How long have you been playing the piano?
I've been playing since I was a child. It's something that has always been a part of my life. I find it very therapeutic. Do you have a favorite type of music to play on the guitar?
I enjoy playing a mix of folk and rock music. It's fun to strum along to some of my favorite songs. Do you perform or just play for yourself?
Mostly for myself, but occasionally for friends and family. It's nice to share music with others. Do you ever perform your guitar playing?
Just at small gatherings with friends. It's more of a hobby than anything serious. I think it's important to have those creative outlets. They bring a lot of joy to life.
I completely agree. Creativity is so important. It balances out the more technical aspects of our work lives. Do you ever combine your photography with your graphic design work?
Sometimes. I've used my photos in some of my design projects. It adds a personal touch to my work. Have you ever used your paintings in any professional capacity?
Not professionally, but I've created some artwork for friends and family. It's nice to be able to give something personal and handmade. Do you have any other hobbies or interests?
I enjoy cooking. It's another creative outlet for me. I love experimenting with different cuisines and ingredients. Do you like to cook?
Yes, I love cooking too. Trying out new recipes and making dishes from different cultures is always fun. What's your favorite cuisine to cook?
I really enjoy cooking Italian food. There's something very comforting about a good pasta dish. What about you?
I love making Spanish dishes, especially paella. It's a bit time-consuming, but so worth it. Do you have a signature dish that you're known for?
My friends say I make a mean lasagna. It's one of my go-to dishes when I have people over. What's your favorite dish to cook?
Probably tortilla española. It's simple but delicious, and it reminds me of home. Do you enjoy trying new restaurants?
Absolutely. I love exploring new places and trying different foods. It's one of my favorite things to do when traveling. How about you?
Me too. Food is such a big part of experiencing a new culture. Do you have a favorite restaurant in New York?
There are so many, but one of my favorites is a little Italian place in the West Village. They make the best tiramisu. Do you have a favorite restaurant back home?
Yes, there's a wonderful seafood restaurant by the beach that I love. Their paella is the best I've ever had. Do you enjoy cooking for others?
I do. It's always fun to share a meal with friends and family. There's something very satisfying about cooking for others and seeing them enjoy the food. What about you?
Absolutely. It's one of the best ways to bring people together. Sharing a meal creates a special bond.
Have you traveled to many places?
Yes, I've been fortunate enough to travel to quite a few countries, especially in Europe and Asia. Each place has its own unique charm. How about you?
I've done quite a bit of traveling too, mostly around North America and Europe. It's always fascinating to experience different cultures. What's your favorite destination so far?
That's a tough one, but I'd have to say Japan. The blend of traditional and modern culture there is incredible. The temples, the technology, and the food are all amazing. How about you? Any favorite places?
I think Italy would be my favorite. The history, the architecture, and of course the food. It's all so rich and captivating. What did you enjoy most about Japan?
I loved the cherry blossoms in spring. They're breathtakingly beautiful. The people were incredibly polite, and the public transportation was so efficient. What about you? What stands out about Italy?
For me, it was visiting Rome and seeing the Colosseum and the Vatican. The art and history there are just overwhelming. Plus, the Italian cuisine, nothing beats a homemade pasta dish.
I can imagine. I've always wanted to visit Italy for that reason. How do you usually immerse yourself in a new culture when you travel?
I try to learn a few basic phrases in the local language and make an effort to eat where the locals eat. I also like visiting museums and historical sites to get a better understanding of the place's heritage. What about you?
I do something similar. I love attending local festivals and events, as they really showcase the culture and traditions. I also try to stay with locals when possible to get a more authentic experience.
That's a great approach. Do you have any memorable cultural experiences that stand out?
Yes, during my trip to India, I attended a traditional wedding. It was such a vibrant and joyous celebration, full of color, music, and dance. It was unlike anything I'd ever experienced before. What about you?
I had a memorable experience in Morocco. I stayed in a riad in Marrakech and was invited to a family's home for dinner. The hospitality was incredible, and the food was out of this world. It really gave me a deeper appreciation for Moroccan culture.
That sounds amazing. Hospitality is such an important part of many cultures. I've noticed that, especially in places like Turkey and Greece, where guests are treated like family.
Yes, I experienced that in Greece as well. I was in a small village, and the locals were so welcoming. They invited me to join their meal and shared stories about their history and traditions. It was very touching.
It's those personal connections that make travel so special. Have you picked up any new traditions or practices from your travels?
Definitely. From my time in Japan, I've adopted the practice of taking my shoes off before entering my home. It's a simple thing, but it makes the house feel cleaner and more comfortable. How about you?
I've picked up the habit of having a siesta from my travels in Spain. It's such a refreshing break in the middle of the day. I also love the Italian tradition of aperitivo, where you have a small drink and snacks before dinner. It's a great way to unwind and socialize.
Those are wonderful traditions. It's amazing how different cultures approach daily life and how much we can learn from them. Have you found any challenges while adapting to new cultures?
Yes, sometimes the language barrier can be a bit challenging. but I found that people appreciate it when you make an effort to speak their language, even if it's just a few words. It goes a long way in building connections. Have you faced any challenges?
The language barrier can be tough, but I agree. Making an effort helps a lot. I've also found that navigating different social norms and customs can be tricky. It's important to be respectful and open-minded.
Absolutely. Being open-minded and respectful is key. It's all about being willing to learn and adapt. Have you ever experienced culture shock?
Yes, when I first visited China. The sheer number of people, the pace of life, and the different ways of doing things were quite overwhelming at first, but it was also a very enriching experience. What about you?
I felt a bit of culture shock when I first traveled to India. The sights, sounds, and smells were so different from what I was used to. But once I embraced the differences, I started to appreciate the beauty and richness of the culture.
What do you think about the cultural differences between our countries, Maria?
I find it absolutely fascinating. The diversity of cultures around the world is one of the things that make traveling so enriching. How about you?
I completely agree. It's amazing to see how people from different backgrounds live, work, and interact. One thing I find particularly interesting is the way people communicate.
Yes, communication styles can vary widely from one culture to another. In Spain, for example, people tend to be more expressive and affectionate in their communication compared to the US.
That's very true. In the US, people often value directness and clarity in communication. It's interesting how these differences can sometimes lead to misunderstandings or misinterpretations.
Absolutely. It's important to be aware of these differences and to approach communication with openness and sensitivity. Another aspect of culture that I find intriguing is the concept of time.
Yes, the perception of time can vary greatly from culture to culture. In some cultures, punctuality is highly valued, while in others, time is seen as more fluid and flexible.
That's right. In Spain, for example, it's common for events to start later than scheduled, and being fashionably late is somewhat acceptable. But in other cultures, being late is considered disrespectful.
It's interesting how these cultural norms shape our behaviors and expectations. Have you ever experienced any cultural misunderstandings or faux pas while traveling?
Yes, definitely. I remember once in Japan, I accidentally handed someone my business card with one hand instead of two, which is considered disrespectful. It was a small mistake, but it taught me a lot about the importance of cultural etiquette.
It's those little details that can make a big difference in cross-cultural interactions. I've had similar experiences, like not knowing the proper way to greet someone in certain cultures.
Exactly. But I think what's important is to approach these situations with humility and a willingness to learn. It's all part of the adventure of traveling and connecting with people from different backgrounds.
Absolutely. It's through these experiences that we gain a deeper understanding and appreciation for the richness and diversity of the world. Have you ever found any similarities between different cultures?
Yes, definitely. Despite the differences, there are often underlying values or beliefs that are shared across cultures, like the importance of family, hospitality, and respect for elders.
I've noticed that too. It's comforting to know that despite our differences, there are certain universal truths that connect us as human beings.
Absolutely. It reminds us that at our core, we're all more alike than we are different. And I think that's something worth celebrating and embracing.
Well said, Maria. It's been really insightful talking to you about this. It's always great to exchange perspectives and learn from each other's experiences.
Likewise, John. I've really enjoyed our conversation. It's refreshing to connect with someone who shares a similar curiosity and appreciation for different cultures.
Do you have any memorable travel experiences, Maria?
Yes, quite a few, actually. One that stands out is when I got lost in Tokyo during my first solo trip to Japan. I had wandered off the beaten path and couldn't find my way back to my hotel. Luckily, a kind local noticed my distress and helped me navigate the subway system to get back safely.
Wow, that sounds like quite an adventure. It's amazing how strangers can sometimes become our greatest allies in unfamiliar places. Do you remember anything specific about that experience?
Yes, definitely. It taught me the importance of being prepared and staying calm in unexpected situations. It also showed me the kindness and generosity of strangers, even in a bustling city like Tokyo.
That's a valuable lesson to learn. It's those unexpected moments that often become the most memorable parts of our travels. Have you had any other memorable experiences?
Yes, another memorable experience was when I visited a remote village in the Himalayas. The scenery was breathtaking, and the people were incredibly welcoming. I stayed with a local family who shared their food, stories, and traditions with me. It was a truly humbling and enriching experience.
That sounds absolutely incredible. I can only imagine the sense of connection and awe you must have felt being surrounded by such natural beauty and warmth. Did you learn anything new about yourself during that trip?
Definitely. Being immersed in such a different environment made me realize how adaptable and resilient I can be. It also deepened my appreciation for the simple joys of life and the importance of human connections.
It's amazing how travel has a way of bringing out those inner strengths and insights. Have you had any similar revelations during your travels?
Yes, absolutely. Traveling has taught me so much about myself and the world around me. It's helped me become more open-minded, compassionate, and appreciative of the diversity and beauty of life.
I can relate to that. Traveling has been a transformative experience for me as well. It's expanded my horizons, challenged my assumptions, and enriched my understanding of different cultures and perspectives.
It's so true. There's something about stepping out of our comfort zones and immersing ourselves in new experiences that brings about growth and self-discovery.
Absolutely. It's those personal stories and experiences that shape who we are and how we see the world. They become a part of us and help us connect with others on a deeper level.
Definitely. Sharing our stories allows us to not only learn from each other, but also to find common ground and build meaningful connections.
Well said, Maria. I've really enjoyed hearing about your travel experiences. It's inspiring to see how much you've learned and grown from your adventures.
Thank you, John. I've enjoyed sharing them with you. It's been wonderful to connect with someone who shares a similar passion for exploration and discovery.
So, Maria, do you have any plans for your next adventure?
Yes, I'm actually thinking about visiting South America next. I've always been fascinated by the rich culture, diverse landscapes, and vibrant cities of countries like Brazil, Argentina, and Peru. I'm especially excited about exploring the Amazon rainforest and hiking Machu Picchu. How about you, John? Any travel plans on the horizon?
South America sounds amazing. I've been wanting to visit as well, especially Brazil for the carnival and Argentina for the tango. As for my next trip, I'm thinking of heading to Southeast Asia. I've heard so many wonderful things about Thailand, Vietnam, and Indonesia. The food, the temples, and the natural beauty there are supposed to be incredible.
That sounds like an incredible adventure. Southeast Asia has been on my bucket list too. The temples in Thailand and the beaches in Indonesia look absolutely stunning. Do you have any specific places you want to visit?
I'd love to explore Bangkok and Chiang Mai in Thailand, go on a junk boat cruise in Halong Bay, Vietnam, and visit the ancient temples of Angkor Wat in Cambodia. And of course, I can't wait to try all the delicious street food.
Those all sound like incredible experiences. Southeast Asia has so much to offer in terms of culture, history, and cuisine. I'm sure you'll have an amazing time. Do you have any other destinations on your travel wish list?
Definitely. I'd love to visit Australia and New Zealand at some point. I've always been drawn to the stunning landscapes, the unique wildlife, and the laid-back vibe of those countries. Plus, I've heard the outdoor adventures there are unbeatable.
Australia and New Zealand are on my list, too. The Great Barrier Reef, the Outback, the Milford Sound, they all look like paradise. It would be incredible to experience the natural beauty and adventure activities there. When do you think you'll plan those trips?
Hopefully in the next couple of years. I want to make sure I have enough time to explore each destination thoroughly and immerse myself in the local culture. Plus, it gives me something to look forward to and work towards.
That's a great approach. It's important to take the time to fully experience each destination and make the most of your travels. Plus, having something to look forward to can be a great source of motivation and inspiration.
Absolutely. And it's always exciting to discover new places, meet new people, and create lasting memories. Do you have any specific activities or experiences you're looking forward to on your upcoming trips?
Definitely. I'm really looking forward to trying the local cuisine, exploring the natural beauty, and learning about the history and culture of each place. I also want to challenge myself with some outdoor adventures like hiking, snorkeling, and maybe even bungee jumping.
Wow, those all sound like amazing experiences. It's great to have a mix of cultural immersion, adventure, and relaxation on your travel itinerary. I'm sure you'll come back with some incredible stories and memories.
Thank you, John. I can't wait to embark on these adventures and see where they take me. And I hope you have an equally amazing time exploring Southeast Asia and beyond.
Thank you, Maria. It's been wonderful chatting with you about our travel plans and sharing our excitement for future adventures. I'm sure we'll have plenty of stories to exchange when we return. Maria, it's been fantastic getting to know you and chatting about our shared interests and travel plans. I'd love to stay in touch and hear about your future adventures.
I feel the same way, John. It's been a pleasure connecting with someone who shares a similar passion for exploration and cultural experiences. I'd love to keep in touch and exchange travel tips and stories.
Absolutely. Do you use social media to share your travel experiences?
Yes, I'm active on Instagram and Facebook. I love sharing photos and stories from my travels. What about you?
I use Instagram too. It's a great platform for sharing visual content and connecting with fellow travelers. I'll look you up and give you a follow.
That sounds great. My handle is @MariaTravels. Feel free to send me a message anytime.
Perfect. I'll make sure to follow you and keep up with your adventures. And if you ever need any travel recommendations or tips, don't hesitate to reach out.
Thank you, John. I'll definitely keep that in mind. And if you're ever in need of advice or want to chat about travel, feel free to send me a message as well.
Sounds like a plan. It's always nice to have someone to exchange travel stories and recommendations with. I'm looking forward to seeing your posts and hearing about your future travels.
Likewise, John. It's been a pleasure connecting with you, and I'm excited to see where our adventures take us. Safe travels, and let's keep in touch.
Safe travels to you too, Maria. Until next time.